Hello, hello Pisces. Welcome to your September 2018 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a Sun, Moon, or Rising Pisces. And as I'm pulling these oracle cards for everybody, go ahead, check in with your body and see if there's any information that you'd like to come up during this reading. Feel in if there's any fear or anxiety, frustration, tension, just acknowledge it. And as I'm sure a lot of you know, I do list out all of the decks that I'm using in the description box. So if you're wondering about those, you can just head on down there and they're all listed out for you. And then there's also all of the links to work with me one-on-one are also listed out in the description box. So deep breath. And first thing for Pisces, I feel, therefore I am. All about being present with emotions. And your feelings are not, one, the only dimension of you. It's just an aspect of you. And then also reminding yourself that as Pisces, your beauty is in your sensitivity. Okay, now the word of the month for you is trust. Ask your guides, act faithfully on their messages, call forth the best in others through your attitude, energy, and expectations. Know that you are supported. Probably one of the most challenging things to do if you are not used to this, if you do feel like you have been betrayed, you can't trust your higher power, you aren't able to fully feel supported in this lifetime. I understand the obstacles and challenges that come with the lesson of trust. But this is why it's a practice. It's not something that everyone just has organically. It's something that it can take work to get there. So that is, have compassion with yourself if you feel resistant to that card. The spirit animal is lion. Owning your domain, really feeling into the power of being you, like having a very heart-centered approach in September is going to serve you well. And I think that there's a lot of things that you're going to be able to accomplish just by being authentic with yourself and who you are. Okay, and then I'm also going to be pulling a love and relationship card. This is good for you in partnership, outside of partnership, in any type of relationship it'll apply for you. So, loyalty. I'm there for the people I care about in whatever way they need me. Ride to the airport? No problem. Bail you out of jail? You bet. Go see your band again? Maybe. The point is, when I stand with them, I know I'm part of something special. And to be honest, it doesn't suck to look around and remember they're standing with me too. So support is going to be really big. Loyalty and knowing who you are, willing to work with and who's supportive and loyal to you matters as well. Okay, now this is the Maslow hierarchy of needs spread. I did this a few months ago and I loved it. It covers a lot, so I hope that you guys enjoy it. This base row is resources, financial resources, home, all of the things that you need, right? And as we work our way up, it becomes less and less essential. But let's see what's coming up first for Pisces in terms of resources. Two of feathers. I'm going to clarify this one. Let me pull a few more cards and then I will speak to that because there's a few things going on there. Second, we have five of feathers, lots of fear pictures. I think this is why you're getting called to have trust, because this is all your baggage. The uncertainty activating fear and frustration and feeling like things aren't working out. It's not entirely like this thing that's happening to you. That's not what this is. It's just that either the circumstances, the situations, could be causing you to feel unbalanced or feel kind of like you can't fully lean on what it is that's around you. We also have the Seven of Torches. I actually think you're doing a lot better than you're giving yourself credit for. That's what this looks like, because the Seven of Torches is about standing out, rising above, you know, really ascending. And so I think it's just the uncertainty piece that's causing a hiccup. That's why the trust card is so important. And then we also have the Nine of Torches. So yep, forward progression in you manifesting the resources that you need. I'm going to clarify the Two of Feathers and the Five of Feathers. I'll just pull a card for both of them, or one for the both of them. Ten of Arrows. So feeling really defeated around the whole trust thing. Again, it's like the humility and powerlessness that might be getting activated and amplified it's something that's not, like you have to decide to release that first. Because it's one of those things that your existence is just going to be reflected. Your belief systems are just going to be reflected. Your biases are just going to be reflected. It's not something where you can like fully work through things around resources and stability if you're not working on your perception of it at the same time. So if you're doing the work, then you're going to start to see the effects show up in the material world. But if you're really resistant to that and you don't want to let go of what's not serving you, then it's kind of like, well, that's how it's going to stay. So be flexible and open to you releasing first rather than I need proof before I can trust. That's what this is showing right here. Now this area is for relationships. So romantic, platonic, familial, whatever your intention is with this reading, that's what's coming up right here. Your sense of community. We have the Nine of Rocks. I think that you do have that stability there in terms of the friendships and relationships that you have cultivated are paying off in a lot of ways. Like you kind of get to rely on what you've built up to this point. And so I'm going to encourage you to take advantage of this because there's a big gift in what you've already built. So make sure you're not ignoring that. Then we also have the Eight of Torches. This looks fast-paced. Like this is, okay, things are really picking up, moving forward, moving ahead. And so there's going to be, I might clarify this one. Let me see what's going on over here. We have temperance, balance with yourself, with the way that you are in relationships with whatever, because if there's anything that I've learned from this work that I do with so many different people is that relationships show up in all different ways, all varieties, all situations, all circumstances. There's not like one formula that works. And so the Temperance card is reminding you that you can do what's right for you. Even if other people don't understand it, that's okay. It's about what works for you. But I do see like there's a lot of, it's kind of like if you want more friends, being surrounded by friends, like being able to tap into an abundance. Looking for forward movement with a partner, it's kind of like that's being delivered. I'm pulling a clarifier for this. Ace of Arrows. So it's working. There's something about this that's being worked out in the astral. So kind of let that be what it is. I don't think you're going to need to force this too much. You might have to initiate. You might have to kind of light things up and instigate first. But I think a lot of it, again, is having to do with that trust piece here. That's going to be a big help for you in getting things moving forward and having that pace pick up in the relationships around you. Now this is career, ambition, goals. First thing we have Queen of Feathers, doing it on your own. I think there's something that's really empowering about doing something yourself when it comes to your work. This could be taking on a solo project. It could be picking up some independent work. It could be, this could be a lot of things, but I think the primary point is that you kind of need to be in charge for it to feel empowering and for it to feel good. And then we also have the Six of Feathers. So I think there might be a few things in your goals and your ambitions that are not necessary. What I mean by that is that your goals are evolving as they do over time, right? Like your goals that you had when you were 8 years old are probably not the goals that you have today. You know, your ambitions that you had before might not be what they are today. And so let yourself kind of breathe into however you're expanding when it comes to your goals, your career, your ambitions. That type of stuff needs to flow and change with you. So this is kind of a package deal. As you're growing, so are the things that you want for yourself, so are the changes that you're calling into your space. So let that show up however it wants to without judgment. If you hold on too tightly to what you wanted before, then it's kind of like what could work out even better for you is going to have a harder time making an appearance. And the self-actualization, creative projects, Four of Feathers, I think you have, this is kind of like being put on hold because of the trust piece. It's like, that's actually a non-issue. Like, that's super idyllic. Like, once all of these are satisfied, then you're able to get there. But a big piece of this has to do with trusting that when you let go of something that doesn't work, that there is a benefit to doing so. I just think that your effort in trusting is going to help with a lot of this, and then it's also going to just naturally get you to where you need to go. But trust is like the number one factor here in the month of September, and it's going to give you way more space for good things to come in if you remove the pressure and replace it with trust. Okay? And then now we're going to get into the timeline. First, second, third, and fourth quarter. That is where you will end the month of September. First thing coming up, first week-ish, we have Page of Shells, intuition, inspiration. The word initiation came up with this card, and I don't normally get that, but I think it has to do with this Eight of Torches right here, because this is relationship stuff, and then this is a relationship card, right? It's about that emotional naivete that we all want, like how children are able to express their feelings and not be jaded about rejection. And so that's kind of what you're leading the month of September with, is I'm going to try anyway. I'm going to make the attempt anyway. I'm going to express my feelings anyway. And that's a big asset that you have, this, especially in the beginning. It's like, yes, take those risks. Yes, trust. Yes, you know, set aside your biases and your negative expectations and just let things kind of unfold the way they're supposed to, but it starts with you. And then second quarter, we have the Six of Feathers, transition, insight, and this is where you really start to see forward. This looks more like third eye work. So where you see your next steps is what's coming up here, because it's moving into a brighter future, right? Like that's a really traditional interpretation of this card. And so it's like you're gathering a lot of information during the second quarter of September so that you can kind of carry it forward and navigate in a way that is conducive to your manifestations, to your goals, to your relationships. And so it's kind of like the information and insight that you get is helping you to progress, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like your vision for yourself is changing. It's under construction as you're moving through this month. That's related to all of this stuff, especially career stuff. You might get some feedback or some insight that's going to say, oh, that's going to let you know that you need to shift what you're doing. Third quarter, 4 of Acorns, comfort, community. I think there's a lot of connection happening towards the end of September. Whatever it is, or late September. Whatever you have going on, I think there's a good deal of reassurance that you're getting. I guess that's the word that's coming up, is you're being reassured, you're being comforted. I think there's like that surge of, again, you have the information and then it's kind of like, this is when you're like, okay, I can breathe. I know what's happening. It's like you really get your bearings in the third quarter, where you may have felt a little bit discombobulated right here. Like, this is risk taking. Okay, do I have all the information that I need? And then, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm solid. I'm secure. And then wrapping up the month, where you end September, 8 of Shells, renewal, quest, and this is all about kind of being reborn, like that revamp of the energy that you need with all of this insight. So you kind of get that fresh perspective. And again, like the 8 of Torches, this looks like a motor. Like, there's so much energy coming from this card, and it's a really fast-paced card. So it's kind of pushing all of this here. And I think September is going to be a great month to experiment and take risks for yourself, not for anyone else, but just to see where you land. Remember that it can be really hard taking risks, but regret also can be something that motivates you to take action. Is having rather done it than never done it at all, or never tried. Like, think about how much stuff you could miss out on if you just never took the risk. All right, 3-card pick. You're welcome to ask a question. If you want extra guidance, you can just set your intention at that. Card number 1, the Sun, vitality, vibrance. It looks really radiant. So September is probably giving you a lot of energy and the right it just looks like it's kind of the right recipe for you to do things that you've never done, kind of explore the fringes of what you thought was possible. And that's really where you're being pushed to trust. So it's kind of like, if you stay in your comfort zone, then there's no reason to trust. And that's why you're getting this kind of burst of energy, so that you can actually see how things are going to show up for you. Card number 2, we have the 6 of Cups. So this has to do with nostalgic relationships, soulmate relationships, past life relationships. A lot of the karma and information that is coming from these people in your life. Remember, soulmate is not the love of your life. Like, those are two separate ideas. It's more about the soul connections that you have in this lifetime and how those are helping you at this point. Then 3rd card, we have Judgment. So really being clear and decisive is the best policy. It's kind of like wavering, being uncertain, being stalled out, or inaction is actually worse than if you just make a decision. So don't forget that a decision is better than no decision for the month of September, and it's all for the sake of learning how to trust, learning how to expand and kind of see where you land from there. All right, so that is all that I have for you today. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this reading as much as I've enjoyed reading for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you, especially those of you who like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, refer me out to people. And as always, thank you so much to those of you who work with me one-on-one. You guys are what make this channel possible, and I am eternally grateful to each and every one of you who work with me. And if you would like to work with me, all the links are in the description box. And I hope you have a wonderful September, Pisces. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.